4 days and 4 nights had already passed in the middle of the ocean, and Kayen could no longer tolerate the hot and suffocating air. He took off all his clothes and started repairing the broken engine of the small rubber boat, but as soon as he opened the equipment cover, he lost his balance and fell straight into the cold ocean. On the other side, a rich family girl named Raffaela woke up from a deep sleep. When she looked around, she realized that she was completely alone on the rubber boat, so she thought Kayen had left her and escaped. Feeling lonely and trapped, she became terrified and started screaming, "Is anyone there? Help!" Just then, Kayen suddenly came back up to the surface of the water. Raffaela's attitude changed instantly, and she started insulting Kayen with her old rich girl attitude and sarcasm. Through her endless complaints, she blamed Kayen for every problem they were facing in the ocean. While they were arguing, Kayen somehow managed to fix the boat's broken engine. Raffaela was extremely happy, but another problem appeared immediately. After spending 4 days at sea, both of them had completely lost their way and could not find any route back. Angry and frustrated, Raffaela kept blaming Kayen, while Kayen was just an ordinary worker who worked because he had no other choice, so he quietly listened to everything and said nothing. Now they had to drive the boat according to Raffaela's wishes, going around the ocean without any clear destination. Even after traveling continuously for 2 more days and nights, there was still no sign of land anywhere. The boat had completely run out of fuel, and they had no choice but to lie on the boat and wait for the end. Weak from hunger, Kayen jumped into the ocean himself, caught a live fish, and ate it raw. Raffaela stepped back in disgust when she saw this. Even then, Kayen kindly offered her the best piece of the fish, but Raffaela threw it back into the ocean in disgust and comforted herself by saying that eating less keeps your stomach healthy and helps you live longer. Just then, they saw a huge ship far away in the ocean. Raffaela became extremely excited and started shouting with all her strength, but the people on the ship could not see them and continued moving away. Night came again, and Raffaela's complaints showed no sign of stopping. Kayen was only living with the hope of survival, and many times he felt like pushing this talkative woman into the ocean. The next morning, they suddenly saw something that looked like a rocky island in the middle of the ocean. Raffaela became extremely happy, and they turned the boat toward the shore. When they reached the beach, they discovered that the boat had lost all its air. Raffaela came onto the shore and looked around the island, while Kayen climbed up the mountain and discovered that it was a deserted island where nobody lived. Raffaela was not ready to accept the truth and was still threatening Kayen. The two continued walking deeper into the island while arguing, and after some time they found a small old stone house that was completely empty. This was where their life alone on the deserted island truly began. Kayen knew how to survive in the wild. He caught a large lobster from the sea, collected salt, started a fire, and prepared food. Raffaela, on the other hand, could not find anything and remained hungry. When she saw Kayen calmly eating his food, she started shouting and complaining again. But this time, Kayen was no longer as kind as before. He decided that from now on, everything would happen according to his rules. He clearly told her that if she wanted food, she would have to work for it herself because her old attitude would no longer work. Raffaela, who had always received everything without doing any work, was now completely trapped. She became angry whenever she saw Kayen because she had no food while Kayen was living comfortably. As the days passed, Raffaela slowly became used to Kayen's ways. She understood that if she wanted to survive there, she had to follow the rules Kayen had created. She was no longer the same proud Raffaela. She had finally understood her situation and the reality of time. Their positions had completely changed. Now Kayen had control in their relationship, and Raffaela had to listen to him. At night, when it became cold, Kayen would not let her enter the small room, so Raffaela had to stay outside in the cold. Kayen was doing all this so that Raffaela's pride and arrogance would finally disappear. One day, when a crab climbed onto Raffaela's hand, Kayen purposely did not tell her because he wanted her to learn a lesson. When Raffaela woke up and realized what had happened, she became angry again, but Kayen explained everything to her in strict words. As time passed, Raffaela learned how to catch fish and do the other necessary work. Whenever she made even a small mistake, Kayen would punish her immediately. Slowly, this constant fighting and caring between them became a part of their daily life. Raffaela slowly became used to this new life and living with Kayen, and perhaps she had even fallen in love with him. Now both of them were living a peaceful life on the island. One day, Raffaela saw another ship passing through the ocean. She ran to Kayen and told him about it, but there was a strange conflict inside her heart. She knew that if she returned to the city, their relationship would end and they would return to their old lives. Kayen understood this too, but he still decided to go to the shore and send a signal. When the rescue boat came closer, Raffaela started crying and begged Kayen not to leave and to stay there with her. But Kayen did not stop. He lit a fire and attracted the ship toward them. Both of them finally returned to the city and reunited with their families. Raffaela's fiancé gave Kayen a large check as a reward for saving their lives. Kayen accepted the check and walked away, but Raffaela's eyes were filled with love for Kayen and a feeling that something was missing. A few days later, Kayen bought another ring as a memory of the island and called Raffaela, asking her to meet him at the same place. Kayen waited for her on the shore, but Raffaela never came. Instead, she sent him a letter saying that she could not leave her luxurious and wealthy life. After reading the letter, Kayen's heart was broken, and he ran back toward the helicopter. But by then, everything had changed. This was the story of a love that began while two people were trapped on a deserted island, but ended when they returned to the real world.